It's the first day of July, and in Hong Kong, the date marks the anniversary of the city's handover from the British regime to China. This year, Chinese President Xi Jinping himself visited the city for leading Hong Kong's 25th handover anniversary celebrations. But before we delve further into the grand celebrations, let's just show you what the streets of Hong Kong looked like. While Jinping was busy insisting that democracy is flourishing in Hong Kong, the almost empty city streets reflected a different tale. They reflect the ordeals of years-long political crackdown that has silenced dissent. This comes in the backdrop of Jinping's tightly choreographed ceremony, where he made tall claims about China wanting Hong Kong's welfare, while hailing the communist regime's one country, two systems model.
Today, I wish to highlight once again that the police of one country, two systems, having been tested and proved time and again, meet the fundamental interests of the country and the Chinese nation, and those of Hong Kong and Macau. After reuniting with the motherland, the people of Hong Kong became the masters of their own city and realized people of Hong Kong administering Hong Kong with a high degree of autonomy. Hong Kong's true democracy started from here.
Now, the event also marked the inauguration of Hong Kong's new chief executive, John Lee, as Jinping swore in the former Hong Kong security chief who faces sanctions for his role in implementing China's new national security law in 2020. After leading a sweeping crackdown against the city's democracy supporters and quashing opposition.
本人李家超谨此宣誓，本人就任中华人民共和国香港特别行政区行政长官，定当拥护。
Britain ruled Hong Kong to Chinese rule on the 1st of July 1997 under one security. Britain returned Hong Kong, under one country, two systems, the formula, that model guarantees wide-ranging autonomy and judicial independence to Hong Kong. But the critics of the Chinese government, including Western nations, accuse the authorities of trampling those freedoms, a claim that Beijing outrightly rejects. And for more on this, our correspondent Patrick Falk is joining us live from Hong Kong. Patrick, thank you for joining us. Can you just begin by walking us through the key highlights of this visit so far?
Well, this is a hugely symbolic event. The fact that President Xi Jinping chose to come to Hong Kong and make this his first trip outside of mainland China since the start of the pandemic, really, a lot of people feel that speaks volumes about how President Xi feels about Hong Kong. But many people also see this as a sort of victory parade for Beijing in many ways. The last time President Xi was here was in 2017. A lot has changed since then, particularly after the anti-government protests of 2019 and the subsequent crackdown on activists and opposition figures. So, today was really symbolic in many ways of Beijing reasserting full control. President Xi Jinping talked yesterday about how Hong Kong had been reborn from the ashes after the storm with vigor and vitality. Today, he reiterated that there would be no tolerance for the sort of chaos, as he put it, that went on in 2019, and said that that must not happen again, and Hong Kong's affairs must not be interfered with so that it can continue to develop.
Right, absolutely, Patrick. In fact, John Lee is now the new chief executive of Hong Kong. What can you tell us about that and what it means for democracy in Hong Kong going forward? We know that President Xi Jinping has in fact insisted that democracy is flourishing.
Yeah, well, it's an important point that was notable today was President Xi Jinping talked about the success of one country, two systems, and he suggested also that one country systems can be taken beyond 2047. Of course, this is the principle that was agreed by the UK and China, under which Hong Kong would, as you say, enjoy a high degree of autonomy and freedoms not seen anywhere else on mainland China. But, you know, this is, many people feel not what was promised. As you say, critics say that Beijing has trampled over many of those rights that people in Hong Kong had enjoyed. So that sort of democratic process is very difficult to see developing in any meaningful way moving forward. With regards to John Lee, he's been sworn in as the new chief executive following what's been a critical period under the leadership of Carrie Lam, and he has a tough task ahead to try and restore Hong Kong's reputation as an international financial hub.
Right.
And he is going to find that very difficult indeed, particularly with the existing COVID-19 restrictions that remain in place here.
Right, absolutely. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for joining us and with all your updates on this. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.